Hello, welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real, metaphysical, and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week, on a holiday Yule special, we're going to discuss something a little bit closer to home though. Last year, we did a video on how you can make a simple and easy Yule roast. Now that particular roast was a bit more of a pot roast, but it was also designed for any new practitioner who, well, let's be honest, they may not know how to cook at all. And that was really the challenge that was presented to me in that particular email. And honestly, I got a lot of messages of people who did enjoy that, but we also got a lot of messages asking if I could do a video for a more traditional holiday roast. And I'll be honest, that sounds really good to me. So we're going to do that. So what I did, now, your traditional holiday roast is actually what most people will call a prime rib roast. And when you go out for the holidays, you can see those this time of year everywhere. All your grocery stores will have them. You can even find them at your big, like Sam's Club, Costco, they'll have them sliced up. However, I'm a cheapskate and we do eat a lot of meat throughout the year here. So what I like to do, since I do eat largely a carnivore diet anyways, I tend to buy this. It is a it's a ribeye roast is what these are sold as, which a prime rib is cut from this. And I will actually do my own butchering and I'll show you exactly how to do that. This one here is almost 18 pounds. So this could easily feed 3 families. Depending on how you sliced it up, you could easily slice this into 3 6-pound roasts. And by buying it this way, you do save a lot, but at the same time, you're going to have to actually want to use it. So if you know you're going to go through a lot of food or meat or whatnot through the holidays, this is a way you could purchase it to save you some money, or you could just buy your other normal, traditional, pre-trimmed ribeye roasts, or pre-trimmed prime rib. Now, we will be showing you how to trim this up because, as you can probably see, this isn't the shape most people associate with a prime rib. And that's because this section through here, we're actually going to take off. And so a lot of people will actually tie up a prime rib to round it out. I'm not really going to do that. I'm going to stick with a bit more of the, just let it sit and easily cook. This is a very simple cook. And we're going to keep the seasoning and everything also very, very simple for this first go round. And though I have been asked to do this style of cook out on a grill or in a smoker, I'm going to save that video for a later date, and we're going to do this in the oven because, let's be honest, most people have an oven, and that's going to be where more people are going to get the use out of this video. Alright, so let's get to the kitchen and I'll show you how to begin to prepare this so that you can actually make your holiday roast. Okay, so I've got this laid out and I've cleaned it off. Just patted it down a little bit to get some of the excess moisture off. Now I'm actually going to be working with this by cutting it in two. Now I got my space all cleaned up and sanitized here. Now I'm going to run my knife straight down through here so that I can take this back end off of it. Of course, just like in my other video, I got my favorite butcher's knife here. I'm just going to run this down through here. Now some people will try to get this as small as they can. I'm not overly picky because I'm not throwing this out at all. This right here can be used in a lot of recipes, and it will be. Which leaves me with something closer to the shape of what most people would recognize a prime rib as. Then I'm just going to count, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, roughly 8 ribs. So I think I'll just cut it right here. We are going to cut this perfectly. Now, you have an option at this point. You can go ahead and put this in the fridge for 2 to 3 days to put a little dry age on it. A lot of people like to do that. We are not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get this prepared and into the oven. I am going to be using a rub. I'm going to use a simple rub of, you can use brown or Dijon mustard and salt and pepper. And we'll get that prepared and on the rack and in the oven. So I will be right back. Okay, so whether you did want to do this in the oven or whether you wanted to do this on a smoker, this would work for both ways. And honestly, you'd want your oven and your smoker to be about 275, 285. Alright? So all you're going to want to do, make sure you have your seasonings ready. We are going to be using salt, and you're going to be using quite a bit for your rub. We're going to be using black pepper, and as our binder, we're going to be using brown mustard. You can also use Dijon. And I am actually going to go ahead and do this on the actual rack I'm cooking it on. And you don't have to be overly pretty on this one. Just get you a decent amount on there. And you're going to smear it on. Now I'm currently out of gloves. If you have some cooking gloves, those are wonderful because I'm going to have to continue to stop or edit to clean my hands so I can change bottles. Or try. Hold on, I might be able to do this one-handed here. You want to get your binder all over in your cover area. Let's see if I can flip this. Now if you wanted to, you can trim some of this extra fat off. I personally do not. I like to render it down and use it to make an au jus for dipping, but you don't have to. But then again, one of the reasons these cuts are so good is because they are marbled and they do have that fat in them, so it's kind of defeats some of the point, but nothing wrong with trimming. Alright, now that you got that done, I'm trying to do this one-handed, like I said. You want to get a good layer of salt on the top and the sides, just like you're putting on a barbecue rub, because really that's what we're doing here. And I know this looks like a lot of salt, but considering we're only doing the outside of it, it cooks in tremendously. Now for the professional chef types, I'm sure you're going to notice I didn't truss it up or anything, and that's purposely because this is a simple one for everyone. Then I am going to do the last layer with the black pepper. Now some people will use horseradish in their binder. That's perfectly fine. Horseradish is really good. I wanted to keep this one a little simpler because not everyone likes horseradish. But I will do more of these if y'all want. Alright, there we go. Now, get that done. Now I actually like to cook mine with the fat side up, again, so it'll render down over it. Now, we are ready to get that in the oven. Okay, so we got the roast, or the prime rib roast, in the oven now. I have the oven currently set for about 275 to 285. It's a dial, it's not very accurate. The roast will probably be in there for about 2.5 hours. Don't go by time though. Get yourself a probe thermometer so you can check it about every hour, hour and a half. And what you're shooting for is an internal temp of about 125. That'll give you a perfect prime rib roast that will be amazing. So that's going to be our goal. And while it's cooking, I figured I'd go ahead and talk to you a little bit about why these were so popular during the holiday season. And first off, this was butchering and slaughtering the animals for the winter was pretty much a seasonal event and took place around Yule and through the fall. So this particular cut of meat would have been available to them. However, this is a very special, it was viewed as prime cut of meat. It was one of the better ones. And Yule was definitely one of those celebrations where you're not just celebrating the end of the current cycle or year. Because if you remember, traditionally Samhain was the new year. So Yule is actually marking the winter solstice, and we're getting to go into that harsher part of winter. So the fact that beef in and of itself magically represents bliss, excitement, grounding, prosperity, protection, and strength, these are all things that you want to be bringing into your life, not just to get you through the winter, but also in the coming year to constantly draw into your life. So this would have been a great thing to make for the family, kind of a almost ceremonial-like meal when they would sit down for their Yule feast. Many people believe that they would invite the ancestors as well to join in on the feast, and thus this really, really good cut of meat was viewed as a gift and an offering, not just a meal for the family. So it is easy to see how a cut of meat like this would have become popular for this time of year. Now that's not to say everyone would use it, not everyone had to. Different belief systems, different areas, different cultures, they all had their way of doing things, and that's understandable. But for a lot of people, this actually is what they think of when they think of a Yule roast. And I remember growing up, I would see these occasionally at some of the nicer Christmas dinners. But generally, I think my family stuck to turkey and ham, both of which I'm not a huge fan of. Turkey done right is amazing. My family cannot cook a turkey. It's dry. And ham, I can only eat so much ham. But they really did love their ham, so I just missed out on the Yule roast. However, here at my house, this is something we do enjoy. We definitely enjoy beef over ham and turkey. And I don't think my wife will ever tell me to not fix that roast for Yule. She definitely prefers beef over ham. She doesn't like ham at all. And as far as turkey, when we do turkey, she's usually the one that makes it, unless it's out on the smoker. She makes a mean turkey. Now, as I said before, you can buy these already trimmed from your butcher or at the store. That's fine. I like to buy them this way to save a little money because we do just go through a lot of beef around here. However, as a practitioner, when you are sitting down to cook, when you are making this, and even while you're building your rub and putting that on there. Now with the rub on this particular roast, we went very simple. We went salt, pepper, mustard. Now we do know pepper can have a strong prosperity. It can be protective. It is good for the health. So we're moving right in with that nice association of the beef as well. Salt is also protective. It's good for health. It's good for cleansing, and it's good for blessings. So you can see that rub, just the simple salt and pepper rub, even if you didn't want to use the binder, works very well with what we're doing here. And if you put your intent into that while you're either mixing the rub together or while you're rubbing it on, and you're putting your intent and your energy into the Yule roast, what you'll find is you're going to have a powerful, powerful spell that is going to both bless, protect, and lead your family into the new year with prosperity and well-being. And I personally think that is a wonderful holiday wish for oneself and one's loved ones. And for me, that alone is a great reason to go ahead, take the time and effort to prepare a Yule roast like this and share it with my friends, family, and loved ones. Okay? With that, I'll check back with you when we check on the roast, or when it finishes, depending. See you in a few. Okay, so we did get it out of the oven. We got it to 125 degrees internal temperature, and we let it rest for 30 minutes. Honestly, I think I could have let it rest a little longer, but that's okay. People around here are hungry and wanting to eat. We did go ahead and carve it a little bit here, so you can see. This is, I would call this medium rare. I know I do enjoy my beef a little rarer than some people, but I mean, both me and my wife, this is actually a really good doneness. In fact, she might even tell me the outsides are a little overdone, but that's okay. And that really is it. At that point, once you've let it rest and cool, you just carve it up and cut it into pieces that you wish. We tend to cut it into relatively thick slices, so each person gets one large thick slice. We can usually feed, from this particular roast, we'll manage to feed, I'd say 4 to 6 people easy. And if it's 4 people, they're going to be stuffed. They'll probably be leftovers. So this is definitely a great way to do it. The wife has actually already started making her sides. Myself, I won't be eating any sides with it. But that's really all there is to making this wonderful, easy, traditional holiday roast. Now again, for those professional chefs or whatnot, again, remember, this is done up to do a very, 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 very easy and simple roast. We didn't truss it up or anything. And we did set this up so anyone could cook this and enjoy the meal. So please don't send me all the hate mail on I didn't truss it or I didn't use horseradish or all that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this easy recipe. I hope you have a wonderful holiday and a wonderful Yule. See you next time. Bye-bye.